me?
Putting up elixir factory again.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my Negate bot build. It's going to be the first of 3 builds that are centered around this exact same concept that's really going to drastically change group play and the dynamics of it when they're all 3 running together. But before I get into all that, I want to take the time to thank everybody, not only for watching these videos, but the people that have been going ahead and giving me a follow on Twitch. If you would like to do that, there will be a link in the description below to do so. But let's go ahead and get into the gear. With this being a bot build, it's all about generating as much alt as you can, as fast as you can, and reducing your alt cost as much as possible while still maintaining a playable character. To do that, we're going to start out with running the Negate being on our sword and board side. The reason for that, we're actually splitting and gaining 2 final piece bonuses on that side. It doesn't matter how you want to farm it, whether it's a weapon in one, shield in the other, as long as you have both. We're starting out with our weapon being Akhavari Dragon Guard. Of course, because of it being a bot build, it's decisive. Decisive's really overtuned at the moment and great for these type of builds. Dragon Guard, when we're on this side, we'll gain the 5th piece, which will give us the health recovery, and it's going to reduce our alt by 15%. We're combining this side with the Shield of Potentates. The reason for that, again, we're going to get the 3rd item on this bar, which is reducing our alti by 15%. So we get a 30% reduction of our alt cost when we're on this bar. That's why it's our Negate bar. Of course, the shield's going to be in sturdy with stamina for the extra blocking. And when we're running this, we're going to allow us to keep our 2-piece up at all time to give us that extra reduction of damage taken. And the 2 through 4-piece set for Akhavari up at all times. Now, on our back bar, we're actually switching over and running our Cassius. Again, indecisive on our resto side. When we're pulling off our heavy attacks, we're getting a 55% chance every time we're gaining an alt to get an additional one. We're gonna gen phenomenal alt. Now, when we're on this bar, this is when we're going to consume our potions, and the reason for that, that's going to proc our 5th piece. Whenever we drink one, us and 3 other group members are going to gain, I believe it goes up to 44 ultimate if you have everything golded out. Now, you can kind of exploit this a little bit. When your group's just out taking resources or there's a lull in the battle, you can actually get the 3 group members that you want to give the alt to come the closest to you and kind of pull away from the group a little bit. And when you pop your potion, it's going to give it to those members that are closest to you instead of just randomly selecting somebody in the crowd. So that's really good. And I have 2 other builds that I'm going to be releasing that are centered around this set. And the fact that we're going to be able to time this and be genning 130 alt constantly with these 3 builds popping potions together, it's really powerful in group play right now. Now for the armor, it really doesn't matter how you farm it out as long as you have the correct number of pieces. So you're going to need 3 of the Arcassius. Everything's going to be in heavy armor. Run in pin on as much as you need to, as long as you keep at least 2 pieces in sturdy for that reduction of block cost. And then you're going to have your four pieces of Akavari and 1 piece of Dama House. Doesn't matter if it's the helmet or shoulders, just to get the extra boost to your resources. All your big pieces should have the multi-effect enchantment to get the maximum amount of resources. For this, I run 1 piece infused. You can really, if you're struggling with resources and have really good healers in your group, you can swap out the health recovery and put it on magic regen. It'll make it easier for you to sustain. But both of your rings, because it's fairly easy to get these in gold by buying them, go ahead and run infused with the reduction of cooldown on your potions. That'll give you 2 8-seconds, and that'll allow you to have your pot up every 30 seconds to take advantage of Arcasius as much as possible. Of course, we're a Nord for this build. The little bit of extra health and resistance is great, but it's all about the alt gen. So every time we take damage, you gain 5 ultimate. It can occur every 10 seconds. It's basically a minor heroism when you're taking damage, and the fact that depending on what bar we're on, we have decisive working in our favor. That's going to be genning even more off of that. For our food, of course, we're running the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. It's going to give us the most resource pool with the fact that we're getting that extra health recovery. It's just a great food for this build. For our Mundus Stone, we're running the Mage just to get that extra resource. This is the main pot I run on this build. The reason for that, there are going to be times when we're not really in combat with other players, just flipping resources, whatever the case may be. And we're going to be feeding our other group members ult, so we have as much ult as possible going into our next real fight. Plus, this will give us that spell resistance for the full 40 seconds. So even if we have to pop a resource pot or a movability pot, we still have 10 seconds of the extra resistance in a fight. That extra 5,280 resistance does make a big deal in surviving on this build. It's great. So on our negate bar, we're going to start with Race Against Time. We have this on here to be able to remove snares from us and get 2 seconds of immunity once it's fully leveled. It's a great move to have while you're taking keeps and in large group conflict. Heroic Slash, it's a must. We're wanting it all for that minor heroism to help generate that ult. Radiant Mage Light, it kind of depends if you have somebody else in the group that's already running this ability to prevent the stun from stealth. Then go ahead and run the other morph to get the extra 5% magic and help your resource pool a little more. Restraining Prison is a great immobilize. All we're doing on this is CCing. We're not trying to damage and kill players. We're facilitating kills. We're dropping negates. We're immobilizing, then stunning players inside of those negates to keep them from being able to get out. We're all about trapping the enemy so our DPS can burst them out. The great thing with this is it'll also give us major vitality, increasing our healing received by 30% for 2 seconds. Plus, we're going to get an additional second for every enemy that we are immobilizing. So there is going to be a lot of times that when you cast this, you're going to get that 8 seconds of major vitality. And when you're in huge Zerg battles, it's great to have. We're running the Borrowed Time morph for time stop because we want the heal absorption. We want to go ahead and negate out their next 5,000 healing done. We want to be able to lock these enemies, keep them from being able to heal themselves as much, get them killed. Now this ability can kind of change depending on your group comp, and I actually mean the morph, not the ability itself. I use the damage one because it ticks every half second, and there's a chance that you might steal a kill, be that final tick of damage that knocks somebody out, grab that 20 ult, plus the chance of decisive giving you even more ult, and get to your next negate that much sooner. If your group's a little light on heals, then you could run the other morph that's going to heal friendly targets while they're inside of it. For our resto side, we're running Temporal Guard just to get that extra bit of damage protection. And our immobilizes and stuns are going to be our ranged ones that allow us to throw out set traps, kind of mine up and then rune cage somebody that's trying to get through a doorway, trying to make it back to their keep, trying to run away from the fight. The range on these abilities are great, especially once you have your Citadel passives leveled up. Boundless Storm for our major resolve. Critical Surge, it's strictly so we have that extra healing. Every half second we got a negate taking some damage. We got Boundless Storm taking damage on nearby enemies, so it helps relieve a lot of the pressure of healers trying to keep our health up. Radiant Regen, we're taking this one for the longer duration. We're not worried about delivering a lot of healing to our team. It's just there simply when people are low health and you have a small tick of heal on them, you can get some ultimate gen off of that, so that's why it's there. Running into the battle, just load up a few guys with it and then get into your CCs. Alright, for our champion points, we're going to start out with 56 into Warlord. Now this tree you can make some minor adjustments if you need. I have 32 points into Tenacity, 64 into Healthy, 56 into Arcanist. You can drop each of these by a percent if you need to because you're struggling with resource management, and drop them into Tenacity. But remember, this is an all heavy armor build, so we have the heavy armor passives that are giving us resource from doing our light and heavy attacks, same way with the resto staff. So when we're on our resto side and we pull off a heavy attack, we're actually getting a lot of magic back from that while we're genning ult. So you should be able to be fine with only 8% there, but again, if you need the extra, pull it out of there, put it in. You need the 61 points into Shadow Horde to get that reduction of cost on your block. 64 into Bless to help our heals. 61 into Elfborn just to help pop some more crit heals. 49 into Elemental Expert, 40 into Spell Erosion, 56 into Thaumaturge. This is going to help that negate tick quite a bit. 66 into Ironclad, 57 into Resistant, 43 and 43 into Hardy and Elemental Defender, 18 into Thick Skin, and 43 into Quick Recovery. Well, that does it for the build. As always, I want to thank everybody that takes the time to watch these videos, gives feedback in the community. As always, if anybody has any questions, leave them down below. I'll answer them as soon as I can. And I do want to give a big thank you to the people that have been following on Twitch and that help support the drive to get a capture card. With that being added to my PC and the launch of the PS5 coming here in a few days, I'm actually going to be setting up and live streaming not just PC content now. We're going to be starting to do live ESO feeds too. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to stop by, and thanks for your guys' time.